Today, I'll be showing you guys how to create a sprinting system where when you begin to sprint, your stamina bar will go down, and after you stop, it'll begin to gradually regenerate. The first thing that we need to do is go to our content drawer, go to Input, Actions, and then we need to duplicate one of these inputs. I'm going to duplicate Jump, and I'm going to call it Input Action Sprint. We then need to go back one to Inputs, IMC Default, open that up, and then our mappings, we're going to add one. It's going to be our new sprint button, and then I'm going to queue mine to left shift. Following that, we need to open up our third person folder, Blueprints, BP third person. In our character, we need to create a new input action. Input action sprint. We then need to create some variables. First one will be can sprint ? And it will be a Boolean. The next one we'll create will be a current stamina. And this one will be a float, which we will compile and we'll make it 100. Next one will be max stamina, which we will compile and make 100. First thing we need to pull out of started is a branch. And in our branch, we're going to see if we can sprint, which defaultly will be yes. And if we can sprint, we want to take our character movement and do our set walk speed, set max walk speed. We'll pick 2000, which is kind of high, but we need to be able to see our actual speed change. Out of that, we will do a branch, and our branch will be making sure that our current stamina is less than or equal to the branch, or 0, and then plug that into the branch. And then if we are less than or equal to 0, we want to take our character movement and do our set max walk speed back to 600, which is the default. Plug that into true. Move that over a little bit. Put in our can sprint, check that box, and then out of our false, we need to put another branch, and if we look way over here, we want to put our action value, so as long as we're pressing it, it'll go through true, and we want to take our current stamina and set it out of the true, and then take our get current stamina, do a subtract, minus 1 point every single time, set, do a delay. I'm going to leave it as 0.2. I'm going to drag this back into the beginning of this branch, put a loop, keep it nice and clean, and then out of our completed, we also want to grab our character movement and then do set max walk speed, plug that into completed, and then say 600. Compile and save. We will then make a new folder in our content folder, and we will call it widgets. Open that up, scroll down to the bottom, create a new user interface, widget blueprint, user widget WB_HUD. Many of you may recognize this step from other tutorials I've made. Inside of our HUD widget, we are going to add a canvas panel. And in this canvas panel, we are going to add a progress bar. We are going to first we're going to take the progress bar, anchor it to the bottom left, drag it down to the bottom left, stretch it out a little bit, right click, wrap with size box. We're going to select the progress bar, order and padding, I'm going to put to 5 and 5. Our fill and opacity, I want to make it green. our percentage. I'm going to make 0.5 just for visual to start. In the top right, I'm going to rename it progress bar stamina. Going to go over to the graph, going to create a new custom event, call it update stamina bar. Create a new input and have it be called stamina percentage. Create it as a float. Grab our progress bar, do set percent. Either of these works. Compile and save. Following this, we need to go back to our content, third person, blueprints, third person player controller, create a custom event in here, custom event, add and create HUD. And then in our sequence up here, we are going to call out to that, add and create HUD. And first thing we want to do is create a widget, select WB underscore HUD, promote that to a variable. You would just drag out and click promote to variable, and we will call it ref HUD. After that, we want to get controlling pawn. Go over to our pawn, which is our third person character, create a new custom event called set HUD ref. Inputs, have the input be as WB underscore HUD as an object reference. Drag out of, rename it as HUD ref. Promote to variable. You can leave that name. Go back to our controller, and then we need to call out to our set HUD ref. So then we do set HUD, and if it does not pop up, it's because you did not compile it. Set to cast to BP underscore third person character. Drag in our controller pawn and then do set HUD reference. Plug in the HUD reference that we made. You can compile and save. We also need to add the HUD that we created to the viewport. So then add to viewport, plug into here, compile and save. Head back over to our character, add a new function and call it update stamina bar. Pull in our HUD reference and then cast to WB underscore HUD. And then do update stamina bar, and we can get our stamina percentage by taking our current stamina and dividing it by our max stamina. And then we need to go over to our sprint input action and then drag that function into whenever the sprint changes. So up here as well. Compile and save. We then want to create a new variable in our player character called regenerating stamina ? And we will create it as a Boolean, compile and default it to true. And out of our update stamina bar here, the bottom one where we are actually sprinting, we want to plug it in and then leave it as false. And then when we stop sprinting or we hit 0, plug it into here and put it as true. And then when we let go and stop sprinting, we also want to set it true here. And then we want to create a new custom event, or not custom, we'll do a event tick, and then do drag our get for regenerating stamina. We should actually put in a sequence, so if you press S and click, you can then do event tick, do a branch into our regenerating stamina, and when it's true, we want to take our current stamina and say plus add 1. We'll have it regenerate around the same rate as the other one, so per tick we'll say add 1 to our current stamina, but we want to do a clamp float so we do not exceed our max stamina, and plug that into our set coming out of the true. This way, every single tick in the game, it's going to see if we can regenerate, so as soon as we stop sprinting, it's going to start to try to regenerate again. Compile and save. At the end of this, during our ticks, we also want to update our stamina bar, which we can just call to that function for. One little correction we have to make is when we are sprinting, we need to drag from our delay to our set, drag it over to the right, disconnect our set, plug it into this line so it loops back, and reconnect our set directly before the delay. Compile and save. You'll now notice if you press play and you run around, your stamina will decrease. However, you'll notice it shoots back up relatively quickly. So we should correct that. That is very easy to correct. All we have to do is go to our add amount and then change it to 0.1, compile and save. If we press play, we'll then be able to sprint and reduce our stamina, and when we stop, it will regenerate at a reasonable amount. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. As always, leave a like if you found this helpful so I know I'm helping people.